Good morning. It's technically New Year's Eve, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to stay up until midnight tonight. My sleep is just so... First of all, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been awake since like 4:50 something. And I know I need more sleep right now. I'm probably going to go ahead and go back to bed. But will I actually fall asleep? That's like the question of the hour. My body always does this, and I tend to wake up really like cranky, maybe because part of me knows I need to go back to sleep, but part of me is like, I'm not going to go back to sleep. I don't need to sleep. Whatever part of my body just will not sleep. And then I end up like usually just going on with the day anyway. Emails coming in. Who's emailing me this early in the morning? Someone whose clock already says 8 a.m. I mean, it is that in the central time zone, but anyway. I actually created a few vlogs, and I don't even think I'm going to post them. We'll probably just start over with this one. Mostly because, I mean, well, it has nothing to do with that. Maybe partially because I always start them off so cranky, but really because I vlog all day and then I don't want to edit. I don't have energy to edit. I don't, I think I have this idea in my mind that I should be able to do like X number of things throughout the day. Maybe not a number of things, but I feel like I should be able to do more than I do. And then I'm not motivated to, I don't have the energy to, I don't want to. And I don't know if I was raised with this belief or if I just ended up developing this. If you don't want to, that's just too damn bad. You gotta do it. It's probably a combination of experiences. But now that I live thousands of miles away from the people that felt that way, and now that I've lived thousands of miles away from them for years now, but now that I'm no longer willing to let what they would have said 20 years ago influence me, and now that I don't really even check in with the people who would say that to me now, to the extent that they would say that to me now. I mean, we see each other, we talk, but I don't tell them like what I'm doing on a daily basis. I don't care what they think anymore. I can't care what they think anymore. Now that I really don't ask people for their opinion because I don't care what they think, I'm realizing that I don't want to say need to, but I am willing to allow myself the grace to acknowledge this is no longer everyone else's life. This is my life, and I decide what's okay and what isn't. I decide what's important and what isn't. And I don't have to do 5 things throughout the day if I only have the physical and mental energy for 2. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying exact numbers, but just when you got a situation like I do, sleep apnea and sleep issues and really honestly being semi-retired. I am. I semi-retired at 44, and because what happened was, at the ripe old age of 43, I realized I was making myself miserable, forcing myself to do something I no longer wanted to do. For what? For the money? Because I couldn't figure out anything better? I just finally got to the point where my health was like, I'm going to get you fired, or you're going to take me seriously. And I chose to take my health seriously, and that was kind of the beginning of me kind of, I guess, transforming. Like, I've always had the idea, I need to take better care of myself, or I want to have a better sense of self-love, or I want this, or I want that. This might have been, you get these ideas, and then you slowly, ever so slowly, evolve to the point where you're asking yourself, like revisiting the question again and again throughout a number of years, what's it going to take to get to that point? And I think what happened with my ex-job was kind of a turning point in that process, because the first thing it takes is getting rid of that job that I no longer, I'm forced to work for at least a year or two longer than I really wanted to, because I was not happy, but I just kept doing it because I didn't see a way out. I was never going to find a job that paid me as good and had the benefits that I had there. And now I have a job that is not stable income, does not have those benefits, but I can do it from home. And now I have another source of income that makes it so it doesn't make up for all the money that my ex-job would have paid. But it's enough that I think I'm going to be okay. And after I left that job, I ended up qualifying for things I didn't think I could qualify for. I'm so grateful for the benefits that I have. And as someone with those benefits, I feel like I've kind of semi-retired. And I'm going to be okay with that. Because, maybe some part of me isn't okay with that. Which is why I'm saying I'm going to be okay with that versus I am okay with that. And the reason I guess I still kind of struggle to be okay with that is because we live in a society, and or I was kind of, I don't know if I was raised with this or if I ended up developing it. I'm going to end up saying that a lot, I think. I think I kind of had this idea in my mind that I would work until I was like, 60, 70, and then retire. And I'm 44 and I'm semi-retired. And when I do retire, if I retire from this job that I have right now, or if I retire from being self-employed for 20 years, having figured out how to make a business out of that thing that I actually like to do, that it's not work because I like it that much, or I do have to take days where I have to deal with those pain-in-the-ass things about a business, but when I don't have to deal with that, I really love what I do. If I retire from that, or if I retire from the current job, then where was I going with that? I've had this thought in my mind that I would retire in my 60s or 70s. I'm in my mid-40s, and I've essentially retired because I'm not going back to corporate America. Like I said, I'm either sticking with this job and retiring from this job, or I'm taking a job or creating a side business out of that thing, either that I've thought of but never believed that it could make money for me, or that thing that I still haven't really thought of as a moneymaker but can be one. Because I was not raised with the notion that you can get paid to be you. You can get paid to do what you love so much that it's not work. I became involved with people that believe that a few years ago. And those are the kind of people that I want to continue to be around, because I'm no longer willing to work my ass off and be miserable and do stuff I really don't want to do, live a life I really don't want to live, all because I'm proving to myself that I can be what society calls a person who deserves, I'm no longer willing to work my ass off and be miserable for 20 more years so that when I retire at age 65, I can finally say, well, I worked my ass off for 30 years, 40, 50 years. I deserve to be retired. No. I spent, honestly, 34 years of my life suffering to some extent. Whether it was late childhood, adolescent, circumstantial, emotional trauma, or going to college and discovering that the only job that I thought I was allowed to do was not going to be the job that I was going to be able to do. Trying to learn how to be the kind of blind person that is acceptable, which, by the way, I'm never going to be that blind person, but I'm still acceptable to myself. And the part of me that doesn't agree with that, I'm no longer willing to listen to her. And then spending years trying to figure out how to find a job given my both diagnosed and undiagnosed disabilities and mental illness and this and that. The limitations that I have about what kind of work I can do. Realizing that a 40-hour work week was never going to be for me. Let's go with a 20-hour work week. And then going with 20-hour work weeks with whatever jobs I was able to get, some lasting weeks, because just a couple of weeks at that job made me realize that I was just not meant to do this. I shouldn't have said yes to this job to begin with. This internship ends in like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to walk away and never look back. Or whether it was finding the job that was great in every area but one, and then in the 3rd or 4th year that one area just became insurmountable to the extent that I forced it to work for another year and a half, but really I knew in like 2021 or 2020 even maybe that I did not want to do this forever. And then finally my health just reached its point where it was like it wasn't going to get better until it finally got diagnosed, and my ex-company's HR was like, well, I'm sorry about your health, but we're not going to tolerate this anymore. And I'm sorry your doctor's not willing to release you when we say you need to come back, but we can't hold your job for any longer than that. Which, by the time they were saying we can't hold your job any longer than that, I think I had emotionally resigned. I knew when I walked out that door on the last day before my medical leave, I really didn't want to come back there. That's why I had pretty much cleaned out my desk. I think I ended up accidentally leaving something that really didn't matter that much to me. I mean, I don't know, they probably found it and threw it out, or somebody else enjoyed it. I don't care. I really don't care, Of all the things I could have left, I'm glad that I took everything I took. But anyway, I've spent 34 years of my life living like that. I deserve a freaking break. I deserve the rest of my life that I freaking enjoy. And if that means I retire at 43, 44, then I'm retired at 44. And if anyone doesn't like it, including the parts of me that think, well, a person works till they're 65, 70, then thank you for your opinion, but please be quiet now. That's not the way this life's gonna go. These audio vlogs, or vlogs, or whatever you'd call them, are really a combination of YouTube vlog and just word dump, therapeutic, And one might think, why would you post your word journals onto YouTube? Honestly, I think sometimes that's all a vlog ends up being. Certainly the last one I created. and that's why they don't make it to YouTube. That's part of why they don't make it to YouTube. I don't want to go back and edit all that just to find out, when not much ends up happening, things turn around. I mean, I'm thinking about the vlog that, I've got sitting here on my Braille Sense. Braille Sense, if you don't know, I'll probably put that in my video description so that people can look in the description and know what I'm talking about in case I don't want to say this every time. A Braille Sense is a very special kind of computer for blind people. And it's not a full-fledged computer, but there are some programs that it has. It does file management, word processing. If there's an audio editing program on the Braille Sense, I have not yet been introduced to it, which is why I have to edit on the computer. Like the laptop computer that you stick in your backpack and have to find a table to put it on if you're going to edit on the go, which is why I don't edit on the go. I have to do that at home. But where was I going? These are partially audio vlogs and partially like word journals, auditory journals. And why do I put that on YouTube? I guess because partially, if anyone gets interested enough in me to follow what's going on with me, then there's your interesting stuff. But maybe also because maybe there's someone else in my situation or gonna end up in my situation if they don't turn their lives around. And I guess I'm thinking maybe there's somebody, maybe even one person, that needs to hear how I spent my life and realize, you know what, I'm on the same path and I really don't want to do this. I am not happy here. If that's you, at some point you're going to end up doing what I did and leave the unhappy place. You could keep forcing it. For a long time I kept forcing it because I couldn't figure out how to get out. But at some point I just finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I just can't do this anymore, period. And I hope when you get to that place it's not as difficult as when I got to that place, because if you're watching this now and you're thinking, God, my life sucks, something's got to give. It's probably not going to give on its own. If I had not taken the actions that I took when it came to my ex-job, my pride would have been damaged deeply. Because what was going to happen was, if I had not taken my medical leave when I did, I would have gotten fired. Literally. They would have told me, you no longer work here, you no longer have a job, you are terminated because whatever is going on with your health that you cannot stop yourself from doing what you're doing has happened one too many times, and we will no longer tolerate it. You no longer have a job. You're fired. They were going to say that to me very soon. They said I was lucky that they hadn't already. I was going to get my butt fired. My ass was going to get canned. So I was like, let me fucking quit before you can axe me. That's what it took for me to keep my dignity and walk out of there on my own free will. I always knew I wanted to walk out of there on my own free will, but this was what it was going to take for that to happen. Otherwise, it was going to end, but it would not have ended the way I wanted it to end. Maybe you're in the place where it can still end the way you want it to end. You got to take that step, honey. It's not going to happen on its own. If you leave it to circumstance won't happen the way you want it to. And I know it's scary. It's tough. It's not easy. But when you look back on your life and think about how things went, in the end, you'll be grateful that you finally took control of the situation before it went down real fast in a way that you didn't want it to. So, I could just call that the end of this video. I don't know, I'll edit this and see what I decide to do. Do I just want to put this up? I guess what I'm trying to say is these audio vlogs, the ones that make it onto YouTube, first of all, they're not going to be me going out and about and like having full conversations with people and posting that on YouTube. I don't know how other vloggers that we see on YouTube. Did I already say that? I think I said that once, but okay, so I'll say it again. I don't know how people that make vlogs have the courage to go to their appointments or go to their, like, have interactions with people out and about and post their words and the other person's words to YouTube. I don't have the courage to do that. I think that if I did that, it would get me in trouble. So I will just put my side of the conversation up there. And until I get good enough with editing to learn how to silence out the other people or make it where you're literally watching the video and you hear that chirpy fast forward noise as they speak, and then it goes back to regular speed for what I have to say. I don't know if I'll ever learn how to do that. I wouldn't want to watch a video like that, so I wouldn't. So until I figure out how to make up for the fact that I just won't let the footage roll the way it was recorded, you're going to hear my side of the conversation, and it won't even sound like I'm on the phone. It'll sound like maybe I'm just saying a whole bunch of stuff all at once and not even giving them a word edgewise. Well, I gave them plenty of words edgewise. You just won't hear any of it, and I don't know how to, like, put silence in there for as long as it took them to say what they had to say. So these audio vlogs are me recording my life such as I feel comfortable recording it, and me just talking to you. And I guess that's what a lot of vlogs are, but they're partially vlogs and partially just me sharing my story, partly for entertainment and partly to, I guess, encourage someone who is close to having something negative happen to them that I went through, to take control of the situation before it gets out of control and, or, well, it's borderline out of control, intercept it and say, whoa, okay, this is not how this is going to work. Let me take control back over the situation and bring this to a completion that I can actually look back on and say, I handled that the way I wanted to handle it, as opposed to, that was handled for me and that shit did not go like I wanted it to. So after that very long-winded introduction speech, I am going to either call this the end of the video or go on to my first audio vlog, whatever I choose to do. Okay, you know what? I just looked at these. I know I haven't edited this, but I looked at the makings of this audio vlog, and we were already at like 26 minutes. I know it's unedited, but I don't think I can edit enough to make it to where I want to start an audio vlog where there's already 10 or 15 minutes worth of just me talking to y'all. So I think I'm going to create this as a separate video. And the first vlog of the new year is going to have to be posted at a later date. I'm not sure if I want to do like Tuesday, Thursdays, or just one video a week, or what I want to do with this channel. Part of it is me just still kind of figuring out my life. And my life's a little unstable. I mean, sometimes I have work to do, sometimes I don't. And my work is obviously my highest priority. right under taking care of myself. That is something that I it's just learning that work, life, self-care, self-love, get your work done, do your YouTube, make time for what I would call, some people would call it a hobby. I would call it a form of self-care. Not YouTube, but something else that I'm thinking of. Balance. I'm still kind of working it out, and there might be some inconsistency until I figure it out. But whatever I'm going to do, I want to post the reflection video today of 2023. I have to, or I'm going to run out of 2023 to post it on. But whenever I post videos, I think this is going to be the first one of the new year, and then the next one will be the first vlog of 2024. So unless there's something else that I decide to do, and then it'll be that. But the point is, I think this is going to be the end of this video. Thank you for listening, watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.